Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's percolating. Good morning. Yeah. Good morning to the people on Facebook. Good morning to the people on IG. Good morning to the people on the YouTube. Good morning to the people on LinkedIn and Twitter too. Java, percolating. Get a vibe, stay ready. Truth in the cup, keep it strong, keep it steady. Pull up a chair, yeah. Take a sip with me. Good morning, good people. Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, the love percolating. Love percolating. Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good morning. Yeah, the love percolating. Yeah, Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Percolating. Yeah, we in it. Yeah, we in it. Good morning. Good morning. Java with Jimmy. Percolating. Yeah, we in it. Yeah, we in it. Good morning. Good morning. Java with Jimmy.
Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Of course, my oldest sister is in town, who I'm doing brunch for shortly, is texting me. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. And of course, I have a guest today, and to be discombobulated anyway. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe. Thank you all for being here this morning. It is the first Tuesday of July, and what we try to do every first and third Tuesday is to move in the theme of our sub brand, Your Healthy Java. A few months ago, my good brother Anthony Robinson from Madison, shout out to MP, he was either 89 or 90 or 90 for sure with me. He reached out and he was like, yo, my cousin is doing big things and he's a bodybuilder. And immediately I'm like, and as often as we talk about men's health and mental health, it just made sense. One, coming from Ant, yes. Two, it just made sense to have brother Chauncey come in and talk to us about his journey and also about being healthy. And I got the inboxes and the likes and the loves and the eyes and all that. And obviously you can see that the brother is healthy. He takes care of himself. And so we're going to chat with him for about the next 25 minutes or so about his journey, about his perspective around the importance of health, mental health. Might even check in with him about his opinion about some local issues as a Black man. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Chauncey Palmer, who is a professional athlete, an entrepreneur, a dad, a man of faith, and about to be a pro wrestler. I heard you say something about your pro card.
Oh no, so yeah, so that's for
Not
bodybuilding
wrestler,
actually.
not wrestler.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Yes,
Bodybuilding.
yes,
I immediately go to pro wrestling.
yes.
Bodybuilding. So you're about to
Yes.
be a certified pro bodybuilder.
Hopefully. I got a show this weekend and then I got one more show on the 25th, and the 25th will determine if I become a pro now.
Okay, we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah,
And so do
absolutely.
me a favor, say good morning to the audience. And if I were to ask you, interesting, we never talked to someone in this industry. If I were to ask you around the landscape of bodybuilding, the competition, the industry, if I were to ask you to describe that from an equity lens, give me one word
Mm,
for that. Because again, I've never had a bodybuilder. and you've also, you've been on a couple of TV shows and things like that. So greet the audience and then give me your perspective, one word in this space of bodybuilding, competition, and things like that.
My name is Chauncey Palmer. I was on the Challenge on MTV season 38 and 39. Also did pro boxing for a little bit. If I could describe bodybuilding in one word, um, I would say very the best word to describe it. I would say lonely. Uh, that would be one of the loneliest sports. So
Okay, interesting. And I don't know if you've looked at the show, but we can have a flow sort of in our head set up, and then your response can just throw me off track.
yeah, yeah,
I'll just say that I saw one of your videos, and when you say lonely, that could be a few perspectives. But I saw one of your videos where you said, "I'm not doing OnlyFans anymore."
yeah,
And
yeah.
so to hear you say, anyway, this isn't Java After Dark. We won't get into too much to that, but we'll get
Of
the
course.
context of that word lonely. But who is Chauncey? Tell us about your journey, who you are. Please don't give me the 30-second, I'm from here and this is what I do. No, like
Yeah, yeah,
tell us struggles, tell us your accomplishments, tell us where you're
yeah,
from, as we
yeah.
get to know you.
Well, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. Born and raised. I grew up a little bit in Dorchester, but mainly in Randolph. Um, yeah, this my overall life journey has been interesting because I grew up in a house where, church has been big and faith has been huge, but um, I was never like pushed to be baptized or anything of that nature. So in 2020, I really ended up doing that on my own, and yeah, I've been like fully into my faith as a Christian man. I had a lot of work endeavors along the way, but yeah, no, I'm probably if anyone could like if anyone knows me, I'm probably one of the hardest workers. When I am committed or dedicated to something, I kind of stick to that plan and I go all out. I give my 110% with everything that I do in my life. So if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it to the best of my abilities. And yeah, no, I graduated high school. Sorry, a little backtrack, but graduated high school from South Shore Christian Academy. Went to South Shore. No, I went to Southern New Hampshire University, my bad, for college for a little bit and then transferred to Massasoit where I got my degree in business marketing.
So you have a very interesting journey, and I wanted to talk about the faith because I think in that video, I was kind of, speeding up a little bit, and I got to a part where you talk about your faith and you have
Yeah.
no shame in that. And I like
Uh,
that you highlighted that, and you're talking to a backslidden preacher, so I'm very
oh, okay.
familiar, brother. I'm familiar. I like how you highlighted that you weren't forced, and it wasn't something that you just did because everybody else in the family was saved and they got baptized and all of that. This is something you made a decision for about yourself, and we'll get a little bit deeper into that. Um, you talked about when you commit to something and the nature of what you do. I mean, words like come to mind like committed,
Yeah, yeah.
discipline, early in the morning, protein shakes, sweat, being sore, maybe, like,
Yeah,
how did
yeah.
you get on the journey of, the TV personality, yes, was in the realm of challenge, but how did you get on this journey? Were you always sort of the healthy young man? Did you play sports in school? Like, what for you was the snap point when you decided to pursue this full time?
It was weird because I played sports all my life. So I was playing to baseball at a very young age, and then I went into basketball. I played football. Absolutely hated football. I played for about 1 year of pop water. Never played again. Um, but basketball was like something that felt like was my calling. So I literally played basketball all the way from elementary school to college. And I got to a point where I had to choose either to continue to play or just like kind of go on and try to see if I could go overseas. And this was again when I was in college, and I decided to stay in school And during that time, I actually got sick. I had like the flu, strep, mono, like all at once, which was the craziest thing. And during that time, I was just like, I think I'm done with basketball. I was like, this might be the sign to be completely done with the sport because I was, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And yeah, no, I ended up quitting. I got in fitness, like just working out, just trying to figure out something to take up that time, besides work. Cause I was like, I want to be active, but I just don't know what. So I got into like lifting weights, calisthenics, personal training, where I got 15 certifications in, with like nutrition, health, wellness, and everything. Yes, so I did that when I was like 20.
You said
Yeah,
50.
yeah,
So, quick question. Have you
yeah.
turned that into a degree? Are you planning to?
No, I didn't turn that into a degree because again, I went to school for business marketing. I really like, the numbers as far as that. I'm not good at math, but I love business and I love like being in the realm of like just people within business. So if I ever want to like go back to school, it wouldn't be in like fitness and health and nothing like that. It would be just straight business to get my master's at some point. Um, but yeah, no, that's basically how it started. And then my grandfather, before he passed away in 2020 from liver cancer, he gave me like a few books of like bodybuilding and like just again fitness stuff. And I just would study it and look at it and read it here and there whenever I have my own time. And then eventually when he passed away, that's when I was like, yeah, I want to bodybuild. Um, and that was mainly for like he was like my motivation for like bodybuilding. I didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know about getting a coach. I didn't know about doing any of these things. And yeah, yeah, no, I just was like, I'm just gonna train, study, end up trying to bodybuild. Eventually, when I like started creating content on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, started blowing up, and I ended up finding, my girlfriend, which we're not together no more. Which we can talk about that at some point, but I ended up finding my girlfriend, and yeah, no, we come to find out, I didn't even realize she was on reality TV. And because I don't watch TV or nothing like that, they asked her to bring me along to reality TV. That's how I ended up getting on the challenge. And throughout those years, um, trying to tell break it all down, but I didn't want to be like too long. I don't know if this is
Oh,
too long or
you're
anything
good
like
because when people
that.
come in for the
Okay.
first time, I like people to get to know them. I don't think
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
going to be your last time because I definitely want to pull on your health expertise. But I'm not.
Okay.
You're good. Keep going, man.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so they ended up asking her to bring me along on the challenge, which was back in 2023. So we ended up competing together. She was already on it, filming and everything. We ended up competing together. And during that time of filming from 2023 to 2024, I filmed 2 seasons. I quit bodybuilding to just go back into like hybrid training and all the stuff to be prepared for the show so I could be in the best shape possible. So I started doing like sparring races. I got into like boxing and everything. Ended up pro boxing for a little for a little bit within that time, which is absolutely crazy.
Was pro
Again,
boxing the
just
same for you as football?
no, I personally, I get, like I said, I give my 110%. I loved it. I still love the sport. Like, I have friends that are like WBC champions now. Like, I made a lot of great connections within the sport. And I put myself, when I was like unboxing, I put myself with the best, and I did. And that's why I live in Vegas now, was because of boxing. I came out here for it because I knew this was the mecca for it. It just came down to politics and being so late into the sport at my age. It just to get a career that I wanted to just wasn't likely. And which is, understandable, which is okay. But because a lot of the boxers, they usually start at like 9 years old, 10 years old, even younger. And I was basically getting into it at the age of 20, 24, 25. So um yeah, no. After that, after realizing boxing was no longer, ended up like, let me go back to what I know best. I don't have a passion for personal training, but I do have a passion and love for bodybuilding. And that's what I ended up getting back into slowly. Ended up getting a coach or meeting him out of the blue. We were mean mugging each other in the gym for a while. 'Cause I
Challenge?
was seeing. I would just see him at no, because honestly, like I would just see my coach at random. Like now he's my coach. His name's Coach Rob. I would see him at just different gyms I would go to out here in Vegas, and I'm like, there's no way this guy works out as much as I do. I'm like, he's in his 50s, 40s, whatever. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, and he's going to the same locations and times I'm going to, and I'm switching times. I'm like, this is kind of crazy. So, we me mugging each other a little bit, and eventually I put my ego aside and I was like, hey, you look great. And I was like, I just need help with my back because I want to compete one day. And I feel like that's the biggest part of my physique I need to work on.
Mhm.
And he said, train with me. We locked in. And ever since that day, it's been a year, over a little bit over a year. We've been going at it, literally training every single day together and just putting in work. And we did a show back in April. I won all my classes in that show, got best poser and everything. So now we're getting ready for these next ones.
It is amazing to hear the journey. And I wanted to ask also, where do you place generally Black men on the health spectrum? If we were to give you, you know, you're at the top 1%, generally speaking, either those are, well, presumably those around you are kind of, rocking and doing the same thing you're doing. But
Yeah.
generally in society, like, where do you see or how would you describe the state of the health of Black men? And that can encompass whatever perspective you
It's
want.
it's weird because there's like nowadays, right? The health of just like black men and or just people, younger generation in general, is just huge with the influence of like social media and stuff. Like you see a lot more people into influence. Like if you look at the numbers of people that drink alcohol now compared to what they used to 10, 20 years ago, it is completely different. But when we talk about black men specifically, I think because regardless of our upbringings, we're brought into sports, we're brought into having coaches and leaders, most of us. I feel like the health aspect, we're pretty high up there as far as that. And of course, there's a number of black men that don't really get into sports or get into health later on or at all. But I think majority usually start off with like some type of sport. So that ends up resulting in like, health and fitness and everything.
That wasn't my particular experience, and so it
Mm,
and I don't know who's in here right now, but I get fussed at a lot about, and I put on, some weight in these last few months. You mentioned alcohol. I didn't
yeah.
drink growing up, and here of late, Java with Jimmy, one of my brother's sons, has me hooked on espresso martinis, Java, and I'm like,
Uh,
yeah, that has cream in it, the alcohol itself. So I'll be honest. When Anthony reached out, as you saw, it took, and I want to publicly apologize because it took well, it took about 3 months to go back. Well,
Yeah.
Anthony and I were inboxing. We finally got on email. I messed up dates, but when I started to get familiar with you, I was a little bit challenged. And not in it, well, a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I want to, look good, but health. Health
Yeah.
is, major in what you do. And so what is it that you would say to brothers that may not be at the top of the spectrum like you? Um, what do you say around prioritizing our health? And everybody is not going to end up looking like you. Let's just keep it 100.
No, no,
But, but
absolutely.
but what do you say to black men about prioritizing their health generally? And then we'll get your perspective on mental health as well.
I say just start now. Because one, you don't want to be forced to do this later on and have doctors tell you you have to do it when you don't know where to start. I think that's probably one of the scariest things is in your last when you're in your later ages and your doctors are literally telling you you have to work out, start going to the gym, you have to eat better and do all these things that you've never even done before. I think that's a scary way to start. So I say just start now and then um yeah, no, like literally, yeah, I think that's probably honestly I think that's the biggest thing is really just like start now and it's never too late and you don't have to train to look the best or do anything like that. That comes with it. Just do it for health and do it for you because it does going into a little mental health with it does bring a lot of clarity as well. I think I've been. very like mentally very clear since getting back into bodybuilding.
Let's go down that road about the mental health piece. There obviously is a discipline. There is a commitment made to maintain your physique, to be healthy. I'm sure there's some sort of nutrition regimen, certain amount of protein, you eat your veggies and
Yeah.
things like that. That takes a mental fortitude. How would you describe, and I'll set a little bit of context. There's a lot going on in the world.
Yeah.
You and I think I can speak to this. You are someone that, as I said, you mentioned OnlyFans. There may have been this ability to be as free as you want to be as daytime. So I'll say it like that. Discipline in that space is
Yeah.
also, I think, a mental health. And so, what do you say to black men that may, I say this respectfully, that may have had the ability to be a player, get whomever and everything they want, and they want to kind of come back and center themselves. They want to be more healthy in that mental space. What do you say to them about prioritizing that? And then is there any advice that you would give around mental stability as much as the physical?
Yeah. First, your physical can't catch, you cannot allow your mental to catch up to your physical. I think that's the biggest thing. You have to have it the other way and make sure your physical is catching up to your mental. So making sure that you're mentally strong and that you're mentally like, yeah, again, just mentally strong, and I feel like that allows your body to also do the same. And prioritizing yourself, and that means with mental as well, because again, I the reason why my baby mother and I aren't together, Amber, um reason why we aren't together is because I made a lot of mistakes throughout the years of us being together. So you need to sometimes realize and like sit back and do it for you and not try to do it for the other person, because when you're doing it for everybody else, sometimes that's just not enough. You have to really want it for yourself, and I think that's the big one of the biggest things.
A little conviction there, because when you said that it shouldn't be mental catching up with the physical, but I believe physical catching up with the mental, if I have that right,
Mm.
the conviction piece was is either putting on weight, is not prioritizing your physical health an indicator of some issues in a mental health space. And I'm not saying you're diagnosing anyone, with depression, anxiety, and stuff, but it just, that was a thought when you said that, because
Yeah,
in real time, if you have the mental fortitude to get up, to make the gym, to eat the right things, to
of
rest,
course.
to practice self-care. We're going to talk about that next. What do you do for self-care and wellness space? The physical does become a little bit easier because your mental is you're dedicated, you're disciplined, and the other thing is the prioritization of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you let's go deeper a little bit there. How do you handle the notion of sometimes being perceived as prioritizing yourself? Others may perceive that they're not a priority to you. And I seen your head, so you're
Yeah,
ready
no,
to
no,
start.
no,
No,
because
no.
it, yeah, no,
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
because no, it definitely happens a lot. Like, it definitely, you're looked at as you're definitely looked at as selfish, but my answer to that is you only live one life, right? So there's certain times in life, and if it has to do with health and mental health where you have to be selfish, I think that is a priority, because everything else around you is going to, I feel like, is going to break down if that is not in order. So yeah, people are going to look at you selfish. They might say whatever about you and have their opinions, but at the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself and you're doing it for longevity.
I appreciate that. I'm doing better with it, but I still struggle and think about what other people will think and how they feel. I have this thing of going on D&D. I barely talk to my mother.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just mentally, I need not to know. I need not to see a text. I need not to see a phone. It's just the way I'm wired, not their fault. That's
yeah,
just the way I'm wired. And I struggle with that as much as, I'm on priority. I'm taking care of me. behind the
Well,
scenes
I
is I'm
mean,
still struggling.
no, absolutely, absolutely. Like I have, I have a sibling. I'm not gonna say which one or whatever, but I have a sibling that yeah, no, we don't see eye to eye, and I get called selfish a lot for doing like making sure I'm getting in all my meals throughout the day, making sure I am at the gym for 2 hours, 3 hours. Of course, this is more so a career for me, so it's like it's literally a job, so I have to put in those hours. But again, you're going to get called those things and you just can't allow it to affect you. And again, go back to mental health. If you're mentally strong enough to understand that this is, again, the priority for your longevity and for you to live longer, for you to make sure that you're on the right track, again, because this also brings mental clarity as well. And if it is making you happy and bringing you peace in your life, then their opinions is pretty much irrelevant.
I appreciate that. There's you might need to send me an invoice because there's a little bit of therapy going on here real quick. I wanted to acknowledge someone. I presume these are one of your partners or fans or folks in the room, and they said, you can't worry about what other people think. You got to live your own life. Are you doing that at the best that you can do?
At the best I can do. I again with reality TV, my life has been on a scope ever since. It's
I can relate. I'm
every
not other cameras
yeah
are on me in my life, but that public figure thing.
is huge.
And I'm local. I'm local. I'm not on MTV.
Yeah,
I'm what Queen. I don't know if we've seen if you remember Juice and Queen Latifah told somebody
yeah,
she was like, "Oh, you local," but that public figure thing has a stress
it,
all within itself.
no, it does. You get those DMs, you get those comments. A lot of people don't celebrate the wins. They want to see you fail. They want to. A lot of people, a lot of your followers, most of the time, if you out of all 100%, you probably a good 60% of them want to see you fail. And that's just the sad truth about it. But again, you got your supporters, you got the ones that comment on all your posts, you got the ones that say that you motivate me and everything. But put it in perspective, how many friends that are your personal friends see your stuff, but like, comment, or do anything? So, there's hidden stuff behind that. But ultimately, besides that, yeah, when people are saying stuff, talking negatively or whatever, is you just got to try to keep looking forward because you understand what your goal is and what you're doing it for. So, and again, when you got God by your side, it don't really matter. It don't really matter.
So let's get ready to wrap up with this part here. I don't know if you're familiar with the term. I have a whole mother's board.
Mm.
What type of church did you grow up in? Because that'll give me a sense of your familiarity with some churchy things.
So
Baptist, Pentecostal, non-denominational.
yeah, non-denominational Christian.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So there in Baptist Pentecostal, there is a honor of the women that have been in the faith for a long time, and they call them mothers. I have
Mm.
about 8 of them in here, and they are some praying, churchified. They hold a brother
Wow.
down spiritually.
Wow.
And so with that in mind, let's make them a little bit happy and have them hit their leg and say, "Thank you." Let's talk about your faith.
Yes.
What role does faith play in your life? And then also, would you consider yourself a traditional person of faith as we're in 2026? And I grew up in it, so I can say it. A lot of things, perspectives have changed. Would you consider yourself a traditionalist, or are you on a journey spiritually? Talk to us about your faith.
Um, Yeah, so my faith is very big in my journey. It's always been very big. Again, like I said, growing up in the house where my mom went to church, or she still does very much every Sunday, and my dad, they growing up in a house where they go to church every single Sunday, um, volunteer at church. My little sister, she volunteers at church. It's always been big in my family, so I eventually led towards that, and I made it even bigger again in 2020. But I would say I'm on a journey. Every day is a journey because I can't say I'm the perfect Christian, but at the same time, I don't know what the definition of that is because when you have faith, it's a relationship with God. It's and every relationship's not perfect. You There's a lot of times where you don't do things right. There's a lot of times where you do things right, but it's an ongoing journey. It's an ongoing process, and um, as long as you're knowing that and your understanding of that, then I don't see it being a traditional way of being a Christian or a man of faith or anything. And I guess I wouldn't, and if I had to say, I wouldn't really say I am traditional because I was doing OnlyFans and everything. Everything as far as, and a lot of people have judgment on that, But the
You
thing
know,
is, my even though my mom and dad are in church and everything, they know, they understood, and they are okay with it. They accept it, and I think that's one of the biggest things that allowed me to feel comfortable with that as well. Because if my parents are accepting it, my family's accepting it, then everybody else, I really do not
bro,
care at all. Because
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yeah.
yeah, because I was still praying, still going to church, still speaking about my faith loudly and everything. What I was doing or did for work doesn't determine my love for God or my belief in God or anything. It just at the end of the day, I just looked at it as a career and as a job. And that's just what it came down to, just like any other job, to be honest.
I ain't never looked, but do you? Someone in referenced it, I think, to the OnlyFans. You are an amazing brother, though definitely different tracks. I've gleaned a couple of things from you in the struggle, and I've gleaned a couple of things from you in some nudging and conviction about, getting stuff together, as far as prioritizing myself, in a non-negotiable manner. Speaking of that, I promise this is the last question because I know you may have some opinion on this. One of the things that I met Jalen Brown a couple of times, and one of the things that just pours out of him, it is his uncompromised from perception of his non-negotiables. What are your non-negotiables? And then any commentary on the sad mistake that the Celtics made in
And what in non-negotiables, you mean just in life in general, or
life in
like
general for
people?
you, for however you for what are your non-negotiables to stay as committed and on the path that you're on? What are those things that I'm not dealing with this. I'm going to do this. I won't accept this. I embrace this. What are those things that are your like values?
I think there's only really one, honestly. There's only one, and it's just disturbing my peace. As simple as that. And if there's anything, and yes, that could sound broad, but if anything is in my life that is disturbing my whether it is friendships, uh, or friends, whatever. Um, it could be messing up my sleep. That ruins my peace. Anything of that nature, of course, besides my daughter, because she could never. But yeah, no, that it there's no value in my life at that point.
Now, what can push your brother into uncompromised prioritization of self? My peace is a good foundation. You almost cussed. You mess with my peace. That I had block, cut off. Don't I
Yeah,
no. It just is in real time. I'm realizing that I have a strong developing non-negotiable. Like, and I love how
yeah,
you said
yeah.
it's just one. It's
And it's
just
just,
one.
and it took me a little, like honestly, it took me a little bit because my big mother and I haven't been living together since October last year. So I've been living by myself. So I've learned a lot about myself within, because even though
Sir.
I've been living, like since we've been together, we've lived together. So this is my first time really living on my own and ever in my life. So I've learned a lot. And I've learned,
Self-examination,
yes, yes. And
isolation. Oh man,
I
come on.
s- oh yeah. So when it's very loud when you're in four rooms and it's quiet, so it's very loud. So it's I've learned a lot to what I will accept and what I will not accept in my life. Will I and what I will allow, and of course, into my life and energy and everything of that nature. And that it always came back down to one thing: is if it is ruining my peace, it is ruining my time with God. It's ruined my time with my daughter. It is time ruined my focus with my career. It is ruining my family time or anything of that nature. Even if there's anything that is making Amber, which is her name, I'm not gonna keep saying baby mother. If it keeps running, even like it messes up that connection between us, because we have a beautiful connection, I believe, right now, and I think it's been best this way than it has been in a very long time. Then there again, there is no there's no entry into my life. I'm not gonna leave a door open for that. And just going back to faith, because I forgot to mention this too, even recently I go to church with my coach, and so I talk to him a lot. I think that's one of the biggest connections. I talk to him a lot about my faith, and I recently woke up at 2:30 a.m. randomly without an alarm. And if anybody knows what that means, when you're waking up at those quiet hours, that means God want to speak to you,
You time to pray.
and it's time to pray. And I haven't woke up at that time every in a while. I always would set my alarm for 3:30, 4:30 a.m. That's usually what time I wake up. But I noticed I was waking up earlier and earlier and earlier without an alarm. Woke up around 2:30. It was 2:38. I even wrote it down so I could make sure I kept track just in case it happened again. Um, and I was like, dang. I was like, I already know what I gotta do. I was like, I already know. So I just got on my knees. I prayed. I just prayed for the people that aren't or are against me. The three people in my life that I feel like aren't I'm not on the best terms with, that I feel like are my enemies, are against me. I prayed for them and just prayed for their blessings. And for the first time ever, I'm driving to the gym because I'm like, I'm awake now. So I'm driving to the gym at this time and listen to gospel music because I'm like, I'm already here. I'm already here. Might as well keep it going, keep this beautiful energy going, and just tears coming down my eyes. And it's wasn't sadness, it wasn't happiness. I don't know what it was, but it just felt like a
Mhm.
relief. And this was the first time ever, and I had to talk to my coach about it because I just started getting back into church for the past month, I would say, like consistently because I was working security on the weekends just to because I wanted to be out, but I didn't want to be out. I wanted to have, be outside, have fun, everything, but I want
I
to get paid
gotta
while I'm
be
doing
there
it,
because I'm working.
but I gotta
Yeah.
be there, So I just quit that job because I was like, it's not good for my sleep, it's not good for my mental, and it's just a bunch of drama nonsense. I don't need to be in. I don't need to be around. And again, disrupting my peace. So I ended up quitting, leaving that job. And the first thing I did was I'm getting right back into church. And so I've been consistent back into church. And yeah, no, that was one of the probably the most spiritual moments besides getting baptized I've ever had in my life as far as that. And yeah, no, it's again the clarity is opening more and more with every single part of my life ever since I was like, this is what I'm accepting, this is what I'm not accepting. And if it has nothing to do with my peace, then so be it.
I'll just share this with you. Again, I said I told you you're talking to a backslidden preacher. The gifts don't turn off.
Yeah.
That crying was simply a release. The ability to, I can pray. The Bible says, pray for those that despitefully use you, love your enemies and whatnot. And sometimes we've had to, I love them, God bless them, and it ain't pure. It's not
Yeah.
sincere. I
Yeah.
think those tears was a sign of release and
Hmm.
just sincere letting it go when it's ever since then has it bothered you? It doesn't say that things hasn't come up, but has how it's impacted you changed since that morning?
I well those I would say with those relationships, no, I haven't seen. I'll be completely honest. I haven't seen anything. So I don't speak to those people. No, I don't speak to those people.
That might have been I said release.
Yeah, I
I
don't speak to.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Listen.
don't. I don't speak to those people like that.
Yep.
But they were the first people that came to mind, and I just ever since that day though, again, I've just felt like no doubt, no stress, yeah, you have stress with certain things, right? But like any doubts that I've had that was going on within my life in that very moment, within that week, nothing. And it just felt again just relieved.
Relieve, release, however you want to frame it. That's a
Yeah.
good thing, brother, and I'm glad you experienced that. Mr. Chauncey, I really believe there's a few guests that I've had on that it's taken months to get them scheduled, and I always walk away, not an excuse for my lack of good logistics, but timing is everything, and I think that
Cool.
this was appropriate. You helped me today
Cool.
with
Cool.
a few things. I will definitely stay in touch
Yes.
because
Yes, please.
I definitely see a potential for iron sharpening iron,
Yeah.
challenging, here. And so I appreciate you, brother. How can folks stay in touch? What's the best way? I know you have a website. I know you're on Instagram. I know you're on Facebook.
Yeah.
They just go there and look
I'm
up Chauncey Palmer.
yeah, I'm literally on every platform.
Okay.
Literally every platform. So you guys could DM me on Instagram,
Don't tell
Facebook.
them to no, 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 no. Don't tell them to
Uh,
DM you. Just tell them to follow you.
yes, follow me. My bad. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or anything of that nature. Yeah, I'm on every platform, so you guys can find me, even on YouTube. So
Okay. I'm going to be in touch, man. I appreciate this. You'll definitely get tagged in some clips because you dropped a few nuggets here today. And so thank you, thank you,
yeah,
thank you. I
no,
appreciate
thank you.
you much, brother.
Oh, thank you
And
for having
I
me.
didn't see Anthony, but look, look, look. I'm over on Instagram. If Anthony, I don't see his, I ain't seen him.
He probably working.
All right, well, I'll fuss at him later. But tell him that it happened. As I said in the email, finally, this happened. And it's
Yes,
well worth the
yes.
wait. And I appreciate you, brother. And keep us
Thank
abreast
you.
of what's going on. And if you ever come back local, let us know.
Yes, yes. I come back every few months. I was
Okay.
just there recently for my daughter's birthday, so
Okay.
I probably won't be there for a little bit. Because she lives in Tennessee with her mom. So I gotta. That's the first thing I'm doing once I'm done with these bodybuilding shows. As soon
Okay.
as I'm done with
Go
these
see your
shows,
baby.
yeah. Oh, right away. Oh, right away.
He's
Cause
heavy.
I see her every few months. And mainly because these shows, it's really hard.
Mhm.
Like right now, like I said, I'm in depletion mode right now, so energy is really low. I'm barely eating. I start cutting water tomorrow, so
What do you
and
mean
like really
cutting
low,
water? Not cut
like
water, cutting water.
low, yeah, like lowering it. So like I drink about a gallon and a half right now. I'm cut it to like half a gallon, and it's gonna get lower and lower leading up to the show. So
Why? For less water weight?
yeah, to give like the dehydration, the dryness look for the show. So it's very strenuous on the body. So like during this time, I don't see my daughter specifically because that reason, because she is 3 and I won't be able to. She won't have me there. Like I'll be there, but I'm not present. So we wait till I'm done with with competing. So
And presumably, 3-year-olds, I call them little walking germs. And
oh
with
yeah,
that
yeah,
lack of water and depletion, you also want to, make sure you're not susceptible to anything because cold
exactly.
that
Eh,
age, Jesus. Man,
Oh
this won't
yes,
be your last time. This will not be your
no.
last time. And one of my boys in here is a just rounded good brother, and health is wealth. And I seen him say a couple of seconds after that, where is it at? He said,
Yes,
oh, we definitely need to do a Java after dark.
yeah, yeah,
I know you're a good Christian brother, but that's where we have some of the real conversations.
yeah.
Um,
I'm always down.
we come
Always
in, we
down.
come in reason together.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll be in touch, man. I'll definitely be in touch.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely down, I'm right here. So for sure.
I'll definitely follow up and keep in touch, man. Because well, I'm going to anyway. Because yeah, you challenged your brother today.
But thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you,
I
Ivan.
appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Folks, I hope that you enjoyed Brother Chauncey. He is an amazing brother. I went to high school with his cousin, Anthony Robinson, and he inboxed me some months ago. It took a while. Some months ago and said, "Hey, you got to get this dude on. He's from Boston, a good brother." And he absolutely is. Um, I made reference to the conversation with Chauncey about iron sharpening iron. And one of my irons is now ancestor. I was going to do it in the beginning of the show, but I wanted to be fair to my guest and not have him having to deal with me being all emotional. And I think I'm good. Um, some of you may saw that pastor, elder, um, Alexa was right on time. Pastor, elder, father, husband, brother, mentor, community advocate, community leader. I believe it was Byron Christopher Sumner. He would get me for this. I think it was Byron. B. Christopher Sumner. Byron Christopher Sumner. Has transitioned as of I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. An amazing man, a good brother, a confidant, and someone who will be greatly, greatly missed for a lot of people. First and foremost, his bride, his queen, the aroma of his life, Katini Eaton Sumner. His daughters, I believe Hope and Candace. I think I got that right. Personally, their father, their husband, they'll miss him. For everyone else, external, not immediate family, extended family, the community. For a lot of us, it is, for some of us, it's more personal. But on a professional end, this man worked at so many nonprofits. And we joked about, him moving around. And I did some moving around, but he would go in and make deposits and build people and move on. And Chris Sumner, this is one of those. I sat yesterday for probably about 3 hours and just sat. Of course I thought, but this one is on the list of, okay, Jesus. As Bishop Delano Ellis said some years ago, you need to take some folks out of here. I got a nice little list with some suggestions. Yeah. Please keep Katini and the girls in prayer. I have to mention, because I watched it, there were dynamics between the three of us at times when I was on, my fussing mode. The two of them would have to pull me in. Please keep Bishop Designate Matt Thompson, the Jubilee family, in your prayers. I got to text with Matt yesterday, and Matt, if you know Matt, Matt's going to be Matt. He stands firmly in his faith. And I told him, I said, listen, my role right now is to support your humanity. And so keep Matt, Sister Mona. He posted it was a bittersweet day as she's celebrating her 60th birthday. Happy birthday to you, First Lady Mona Thompson. I think she would get me for that because they don't call her no First Lady. Yeah, keep them in prayer. We will keep you abreast of the services. I'm telling y'all now, do not let them strike an organ or a drum. When Chris had the service where he talked about the ALS and had the team there with him, that night they broke out into a praise. My first time meeting or seeing, my first memory of Chris and Katini, and whoever of the girls is the oldest, I remember he had on a white shirt, a dark pair of pants, sitting the row in front of me to the right. Katini was sitting next to him, and they had one of the kids. And this was at a service that we had for Elder Errol Stilwell at Mount Olive Temple, which most recently was known as Kingdom Builders. And somehow the baby got in the way or something. I remember Chris lifting the baby and giving the baby to somebody, and he went on dancing. I say that because that night that they had the service at Jubilee, Chris broke out in a dance. And by my assessment, they didn't get with him enough. And I told him, I said, if I was there, I would have ran up on that stage and danced with him. So y'all bring y'all dancing shoes to that service. Bring an offering for the family. If you know Chris and you know Matt, they're good. But pray for them. Praise. Chris lost his voice. My understanding was in the last few weeks, the last time we text was, I believe, in April. And my understanding was he needed a wheelchair to be mobile. If you knew Chris, Chris was a boner. You heard how I said my first encounter of him. He was a bona fide praiser. And when he shared with me what he was dealing with, one of the things that haunted me was knowing that about him and his inability to open his mouth and praise God. And he did it. Sound may have been different, but that brother, heaven done probably had to tell a couple of folks, yo, go get that dude. He's mad loud. He's turned up with an unlimited, unbridled praise. B. Christopher Sumner, we love you, dude. And for everything that you've been and done for our community. We will see you tomorrow morning. And we have a special guest scheduled to chat with us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m., we will have the former district attorney for Suffolk County here in the state of Massachusetts and the former U.S. attorney for the state of Massachusetts. Attorney Rachel Rollins will be with us. As many of you are aware, she has thrown her hat in the ring to become the district attorney again here in Suffolk County. And so we'll chat with her tomorrow at 10 a.m. I am going to go ahead and tell you now that I am taking a break on Thursday. So tomorrow will be our last show for the week. And yes, come back and see us tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I think that is it. Save September 10th on your calendars as well. Now I got to go get ready because my oldest sister's in town and I'm making brunch for my sisters and my mother. So I got to get up and go get ready for that. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Have a great day, everybody.